But let's jump ahead now. The next team in our preview is going to be the Chippewa Valley Big Reds. Coach Scott Merchant has lost a lot of key players heading into the new season, but with the speed and skill on defense, it should help them be in the mix.
We had a good off-season. We lost 38 seniors, so it's the most I've ever coached, and we got a lot of holes to fill. We only have 2 starters back on both sides of the ball, so we got a lot of work to do. This is probably one of the more challenging years as coaches because we have so many new kids that are going to have to be assuming new spots. We really have to do a great job right now trying to find the right pieces to put in the right spots and then get the 11 right guys on the field together. So our kids have worked really hard. We've had great numbers in the off-season workouts, so I applaud their efforts. Now it's just, a matter of time growing up because we don't have a lot of guys that have played a varsity football game. Even our seniors that are coming back, most of them didn't get playing time last year with such a strong class. So we've got 70 kids on the team, which is great, and I think the program's in good shape.
Step, rip through, and you come up here.
Overall, I think every team's goals are probably similar. We want to win, we want to win our conference, and we want to beat our rivals. We want to make the playoffs, and then ultimately you want to win a state championship. But each team has to have different short-term goals too. For this team, it's going to be a little different. I mean, we have so many young guys. Those are still our overall goals, but to get there, we have to really take it day by day, and not to be cliche, but we have to get better every single day. And if we continue to do that, then I think by the end of the year we're going to be a really good football team, regardless of how many sophomores and juniors we have playing. But they know the expectation, they know the tradition, they know what's going on. So that's there. We got a lot of really good juniors and 3 sophomores up with us right now, and that's been a great boost to us. And we have a really good freshman class too, so we feel really good about the future of the program.
Good spot for it. There we go. Good.
Maurice McBride started every game at receiver for us. We expect him to be our top receiver, and we expect he might play some secondary for us too. Ryan Muller he'll be our only 3-year starter. He's going to start at defensive end. We expect him to anchor that defensive line for us. Cardell Snorton is a junior. He was our only sophomore last year who started. He's going to be a 2-way guy for us. He's going to start at corner, which he started at last year, and then he's going to play some in our slot receiver position. And he's had a really good summer. And then, we have a couple other guys who played a little bit, but our other full-time guys, Darian Greeley, and Darian was our leading rusher, had about 700 yards after he took over the position last year. He's actually going to be starting at strong safety on defense. He's one of the toughest kids on our team, pound for pound. And then we have 3 senior running backs, so there'll probably be a little bit more by committee in the backfield back there. So if we have one position that we have experience at, it's running back.
We got a lot of skilled guys, I feel like we got more skilled guys than last year. We got a lot of places, people we can replace, and if somebody get hurt, we can put somebody in. So, we looking real good, and I can't wait till the season starts.
I feel like this year we're gonna have a pretty good year. Even though we lost a lot of seniors, we still got a lot of younger guys stepping up. That's why we have our motto, is step up for younger guys to fill in the positions that needs to be filled. Just keep it one game at a time. Just focus on that game that's up that week and carry on from there.
I think we're gonna be fast on defense. I think our team speed is good on defense. Offensively, same thing. We have good skill kids. We're just inexperienced. So, you kind of wonder what's going to happen when the lights come on that first Thursday night down at Wayne State. Hopefully, if we do a good job preparing them and we're hard on them in practice, then, it's really no different in the game and they're prepared. But this is, I think, the most brutal the Reds ever been. When you add Romeo to what was already, 5 playoff teams, I think every week, and again, I know people use these cliches, but in the Red, it really holds true. You can be a good football team and go 4-5, and you can lose, 4 tough divisional games. So that's why week 1 is so important. We got a tough game against Lake Orion. We need to get some confidence and get off on the right foot, but our conference is so tough. I mean, you look at every team. Dakota probably has the most kids back, so they're probably the favorite. They're the 4-time defending champ, so they deserve to be. Eisenhower has a lot of kids back, and they really got better as their team went last year. Warren Mott has a lot of good kids back. Romeo has a tremendous program and pride, so even though they lost a lot of great players, they're going to be good. And Stevenson, Kevin's done a great job there. They lost some key guys, but their program's in good shape too. So there's no week that you can look to and say, well, you know what, we don't need to show up and play our best this week. It's going to be difficult. I really think it's up for grabs. There's a lot of new kids playing. There's a lot of young quarterbacks playing. So A, whoever stays healthy, and then B, whoever is going to kind of win those close games and make those plays at those key times, But, it's a new team, it's a new challenge, and we just have to be patient, and we have to go a little bit slower and let these guys grow up. And, they've done everything we've asked them to do at this point, so we just need to kind of get some game experience and see where we go from there.
All right, Brad, Chippewa Valley, last year was my pick, and they lost a lot of players. They still have some guys coming back, as you heard, but, I think they're going to take a little step back, but those playmakers still on defense still might make them a formidable foe.
Yeah, there always seem to be the wild card in the MAC, Red. You're not ever really sure what you're going to get out of Chippewa Valley, and don't forget they really went toe-to-toe with Dakota last season, a game that spanned 2 days, and it was a heartbreaking loss for Chippewa Valley, and that maybe kind of took a little bit of wind out of their sails, but they should be back and should be pretty good again once again this year. Yeah,
they faltered towards the end, and I think that was the thing, is then once they got into the district round, that tough loss against Eisenhower, the way that season ended was definitely a heartbreak. But let's look at their schedule this year. They open up with Lake Orion once again on the campus of Wayne State on August 25th, followed by a road game at Romeo, then back home against Warren Cousino on the 9th of September. Road game against Eisenhower on the 16th, Warren Mott then at home. Utica crossover game on September 30th. And then they got the 2 home games in that big rivalry game again, Dakota on October 7th. Followed by Stevenson, and then they finish up with a road game crossover against Anchor Bay. So, when you look at their schedule, Brad, obviously those red games are there, but when you look at the crossovers, they played Lake Orion now. This will be the 3rd year in a row that they've played Lake Orion in the opener. Little familiarity there, I would guess.
Sure, and they're 2-0 against Lake Orion, and it's going to be a special game. It's going to be played on the campus of Wayne State University in the Prep Football Classic. A good opportunity to play at a Division II stadium. Hopefully they get some big crowds out there. But you also got to circle that game against Dakota. 2-17 in the last 19 games against the Cougars. Chippewa Valley's got to get the job done. They're in that big rivalry game late in the season.
And obviously the staff and faculty of Chippewa Valley Schools, I'm sure, is thrilled. That game used to be the first league game, which was often before school started. Now they've moved that game back, and it's towards the end of the year, which they'll get a lot of people out there. It'll be a packed house, and it'll be an exciting football game. Benefit for them, I think, looking at the schedule, Brad, is that last game, Anchor Bay. I think that's a very winnable game for Chippewa Valley. So if they're sitting there at 5 wins going into that final week, I think they can have a little bit of confidence knowing, let's go out and get the job done in that final week to get to that 6th win. But, of course, they got to find some wins along the way, too.
Sure, and there are 2 big MAC Red games at the end of the year. Dakota, Stevenson, both home games for Chippewa Valley as well. And don't forget, their 3 losses last season, Jason, were by a combined 21 points. So they were in close ball games and really just couldn't get over that hump to really have a special season last year.
Yeah, Chippewa Valley obviously going to look to continue the success under Merchant. They've gone to the postseason several years in a row now, and keeping that consistency, I know, is an important thing for Chippewa Valley.